Hi everyone, I'm Priyanka, Assistant Professor of History, A.D.M. College for Women, Nagapattinam, A.D.M.COLLEGE. So today we are going to see a topic called Women's Studies. We will see what all in Women's Studies means, definition, meaning, scope, and why it is important in our daily life and why it is important to study about the women in our society. Okay, so now I'll tell you the definition of women's studies. So women's studies, also known as feminist studies, it is an interdisciplinary academic field that explores politics, society, media, and history from women's and feminist perspectives. So, what it is also women's studies, it is also called as feminist studies, and it is interdisciplinary academic field that explores. That means it also tells about the politics, society, the role of women in the media, and history, how they emerged from the beginning of ancient times. Okay, studying about all these related things, mainly about the women, is called women's studies. It also examines socially and culturally defined gender roles. It is closely related to the broader field of gender studies. Women's studies is the study of the subject relating to women and their roles in history. I repeat the main lines. So, women's studies is the study of subject. So, it is the study of subject relating to women, their roles in the history and in our society, in politics, and in our constitutional development rights. So it is very closely related to the gender studies also. It has several essential components. It includes first one, women's contribution to the social process. So what are the things women contribute and their role in developing this society and reforming the society from the beginning in the ancient period? Women's perception of their own lives, the broader social reality, and their etc. 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 So how they emerged, the feminism emerged, and how they want their rights, and how they involved in the movement, how they came back to take their rights. We all see in this classes. And now we'll particularly see the topic history of feminism. So, what does the term mean, feminism? The term feminism can be used to describe a political, cultural, or economic movement aimed at establishing equal rights. So, it totally describes the first one political, second one cultural, and third is economic. These all three aim to establish the equal rights in the society or the world in the theme of men and women. So, and also legal protection for women. So in the ancient period itself, they gone through every social evils. Now they want to protect themselves and want their rights as a human being. They want to treat them as a human being, so they involved in the protection in the ancient period. So they need a basic thing, protection for themselves. So which all comes under feminism. So feminism also involves political and sociology theories and philosophies concerned with issues of gender. It is although the terms feminism and feminist did not gain widespread use until the 1970s. So until the 1970s, it did not spread all over the world about the term feminism, because the women were under the men control, that is patriarchy system. They are refused to come in front to gain their independence. So in 1970, there were no widespread about the term feminism, and they were already being used in the public parlance much earlier. For instance, Catherine Hepburn speaks of the feminist movement. So first, Catherine gave the speech about the feminism. Now we'll see the goals of the feminism. Feminism changed women's lives and created a new world of possibility for education, empowerment, working women, feminist art, and feminist theory. So it also changed the women's lives from what education, not giving employment, not to come out, not to take whichever they like, their preference, nothing. But now they came forward and gained the what all political empowerment, working women, etc., etc., etc. So the feminist art and feminist theory. For some, the goals of the feminist movement was single. So there were more points in feminism. So their feminist role in the field of education we'll see now. Feminists knew that girls and women must be encouraged to seek an education or not just as something to fall back on. So the man and women need a basic education which they demanding now and before also. So in the field of education, all the women are must to provide the education. They seen as fully equal, and within education, access by women to all programs, including sports program, was a major goal. So now we'll see the feminism in the field of law. Feminists advocated for a variety of laws and interpretations of existing laws. For some instance, in interventions to women's professional and economic achievements, we fulfill the exercise of citizenship rights, such as having women on justice on an equal basis to women. It feminists question the long tradition of protesting legislations of women, which often ended up siding women from being hired or promoted or inherited. Now, there are more types of feminism in the field. So now there are more. There are liberal feminism, radical feminism, etc., etc. Now we will see about the liberal feminism. So liberal feminism is characterized by an individualistic emphasis on equality. According to this philosophy, society itself does not need a major service, but rather laws need to be changed and opportunities have to be opened up to allow women to become equals in society. To a liberal feminist, evidence of program is also important to the abundance of women to possibility previously accepted by men especially. Powerful positions in the United States and much of the Western world, theory of feminism is the most important form to gain the independence or to come up the women in the society. Next is socialist feminism. Socialist feminism or Marxist feminism. So it is social feminism is also called as Marxist feminism. What it connects? It connects the oppression of women to Marxist idea about exploitation, oppression, and labor. So what the social feminism defines is they are opposing. They don't want the women to suffer by in the field or everything that is don't want to exploit the women and in the labor field as well as from their normal life also. They're opposing mainly the oppression of women in all cases. Socialist feminists think unequal standing in both the workplace and the domestic spheres hold women down. Socialist feminists see prostitution, domestic work, child carriage, and marriage as ways in which women are exploited by a patriarchal system. So, what do you mean by patriarchal system? The control of men in the family system and the tradition they follow that the men are the main leader of the family. They want to design everything. These are the things comes under patriarchal system. They don't want that. Both husband and wife has to lead the life at the equal way, equal manner. So they oppose the patriarchal system. And also prostitution. In the ancient time also, women forced to do the prostitution. So they want to oppose all these things and free the women. So okay, now they oppose the prostitution part, domestic work, child marriage, and widow remarriage. They want to do widow remarriage as ways in which women are exploited mostly by a patriarchal system that devolves women and the substantial work they do. So next is radical feminism. So radical feminism is similar to socialist feminism in that it emphasizes the need for domestic social change in order to achieve genuine equality for women. So the need for dramatic social change in order to achieve genuine equality. They need the equality for women, and sometimes the two philosophies are grouped together. Radical feminists believe that society is extremely punishment, and until patriarchy is transformed at all levels, the system will remain unjust. So next is gender socialization. So gender is the fundamental category of human cognition based on physical biological features to which social and cultural characteristics are judged. The process of categorization in terms of gender is both habitual and apparently automatic and conveys a sense of being based on a natural and dual division such categorization. So it is the based on cultural and dual division. Such categorization, which is the basis of gender identity, it is associated with compartmentalization of physical faces, spheres of activity as well as psychological, personality related and cultural arenas even in cultures with relatively free of gender discriminations. So what it is mean gender gender socialization, it differs the physical biological features in human beings in the way of social and cultural characteristics. It is a process of categorizing the terms of gender is both habitual and apparently information. So it is the base of gender identity and the spheres of activity as well as. So next is patriarchy system. Patriarchy is an often used term in everyday conversation, casual conversation, whether in English or any other language. The term implies male domination, male prejudice against women, or more simply male power. So it is the term often used in everyday life conversation. They are saying that. And it is the word means male domination, male prejudice against women. So or more simply male power. These are the meaning for the word what patriarchy. So let us see the inside patriarchy definition and points. So patriarchy is thus the rule of the father over all women in the family and also over younger socially and economically subordinate males. Literally, patriarchy means ruled by the male head. The term patriarchy is not a descriptive term that explains how different societies construct male authority and power, but then become an analytical category. So there were more difference in the family system. So what are they? The term it is not a descriptive term that explains how different societies construct male authority and power, but also become an analytical category. So men control in the patriarchal system. Men control women's productivity both within the household and outside in paid work. So men control women's productivity both within the household and also the in outside in the paid work. Within the household also, women provide all kinds of services to their husbands, children and other members of the family throughout their lives. So men also control women's labor outside the home. Women are excluded from everything. They make women to sell their labor or they may prevent their women from working. They may appropriate what women want to. They may, they may appropriate what women earn. Often women are excluded from better paid work. So always the women suffer a lot from their wish because of the patriarchal system. Always they refuse to do what they want to because always the men hold head of the position in also the family and also outside the family if women goes to work. It is said by the women studies people and in subject. But nowadays this changes a lot because the society changed a lot. There were more rights came to women. So now they changed. There were more rights and more freedom also went to women. So now this what I'm saying. Men is control of the head is in the before past. Now they're equally running the family, but this is the term they're saying the meaning for the patriarchy. So it becomes an analytical category. It different societies construct male authority and power. It mainly the patriarchy system explain about how different society construct male authority and power. So there were men control in the patriarchal system mainly. In paid work within the household also, as I said, they provide all kinds of services to their husbands, or that also I said. Next, they may make women to sell. So this is the most social evil that was happened at the most the past and also now also. So we want to study the women to analyze the women's power and to encourage them to come up, and also we need to know how to protect ourselves and how to be independent. So the women studies must to study. I'm saying. So this is the thing I want to share with you, and in the next class I'll see the main types of women studies movements, etc. So the movements of the women in the freedom struggle and main prominent leaders. Okay, thank you.